the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is AC's Conversations. AC's Conversations is about sports, music, TV, movies, and more.
Everything and more.
Everything is ready to go.
That include the latest news and rumors, along with interviews with the biggest names in sports and entertainment. This is AC's Conversations with your host, News 8 Sports Director.
The man is the real deal.
Let's go to work, fella.
Anthony Calhoun.
There's nobody that knows this team more than the guy sitting right here to my left. We're talking about the voice of the Indy 11. He knows all sports here, right? My man here, Greg Rakestraw. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Glad to have you here. All right, you go from high school football, high school basketball. Now we're gearing up for Indy 11, which many people think, okay, soccer better be in the summertime. No, let's start in March. How excited are you for the upcoming season?
Well, I'm fired up. I mean, this is obviously year number 12.
Wow.
You know, and you'll tell the story of Logan Neidlinger coming up a little bit later in the program. We are now to the point as a franchise where young kids that grew up watching us and emulated, wanted to play for the Indy 11, now score goals and score professional contracts for the team. That is how long the Indy 11 have been around, and I am honored to be the voice of the team since day number one.
I love it. So let me ask you this. How excited are you about how this team was put together? We saw the success they had last year, but now going into another year, how thrilled are you about what you see on paper that you hope it translates here on the field?
Well, you heard it from both Romario Williams and Hunter Salt in the opening segment of the show. Romario talked about, hey, there's 10, 12, 15 guys back from the team, and that's absolutely the case. You know, Sean McCauley did do some roster reconstruction as the season went along last year. So this is the group that was largely together, say, August, September, October, into the playoffs in November. The point that Hunter Salt said in the opening segment about how anybody can start, I think he's spot on. I think 1 through 20, this is the most depth I have ever seen on an Indy 11 team. And I think that depth pays off as the season goes along.
And saying that, if you're Coach McCauley here, you have to be thrilled year two for yourself and knowing that you got a lot of playmakers that can get it down on the field, right?
Correct. And again, for Coach McCauley, it's frankly the reason he was brought in. Again, you know, his background is growing up in the Manchester United system as a youth. He literally calls Sir Alex Ferguson, one of the most legendary soccer coaches on the planet, a friend. But he has now played or coached in North America the better part of a quarter of a century. So, for example, I don't think we get a keeper as good as Hunter Salt, who is on loan for the Portland Timbers, if Sean hadn't worked for the Portland Timbers previously. We've got a young man named Finn McRobb that is going to come off the bench for us as a defender. He was in the Minnesota United system last year, where Sean was the caretaker manager for them at the end of the 2023 season. So playmakers, yes, but Sean is the roster maker and has done a good job of putting this group together.
Yeah, we're looking at pictures here of Coach now. It seems like, you know, his players, they have a lot of respect for him. He seems like he has a good time. Walk us through this for all the folks who are getting ready for this season. What type of coach we're looking at?
He is a player's coach, but he is also a guy, for example, I have loved my relationship with pretty much every coach in the Indy 11, but there has not been a man that is more receptive to, hey, happy to be on the radio show. Hey, happy to talk to you on the broadcast than Sean McCauley. He is always a guy that I've got an open line to. And I think he does a great job of walking the fine line between being a player's coach but holding guys accountable. And I think we also have the right mix of young guys like Logan, like Hunter, et cetera, but also the veteran players. You saw from Cam Lindley, a guy like Aiden Quinn, who we yet to mention, he's one of the best 11 players in the history of the league. Jack Blake, who we saw briefly, he is a guy that I think is going to be the leading goal scorer for this group, and he's now in his 10th year of playing professional soccer again. It's the right combination in terms of talent, in terms of depth, in terms of attitude. Maybe there have been bigger off seasons in terms of impact signings, but in terms of the way the roster is constructed, I think it's the deepest group we've ever had.
Yeah, you know, when you look at the makeup of this team right now, how good can this team be?
I think this team can be very good. Now, again, I love the bravado and the confidence, and frankly, you want the guys saying, we're the best team in the East, we're the best team in the league. There are some great franchises in our half. You know, for example, last year for Lou City, which was year 10 for them, it was the first year they didn't make the conference finals at a minimum. That's how good they have been. Charleston has really reversed course. Ben Pierman's a fantastic coach. In fact, Louisville and Charleston just played last week, and Lou City got the early win. Tampa Bay is a perennial powerhouse, also in the East. we were the 4th seed last year. I know our goal is to finish higher. I think it's possible, but there are other really quality franchises. We got to find a way to get by during the course of the regular season.
So you say this team can be very, very good. Are we talking, playoffs, obviously,
right?
A championship, even championship?
And that's really what the ultimate goal is.
Yeah.
You know, in
but
our league,
this team, can they do it?
I think they can. And
Really?
again, I don't think it's by having one player that's going to have this superlative number of goals. I think we could be looking at 2, 3, 4 players that are kind of in that 8, 9, 10, 11 range. I don't think it's going to be one guy carrying the freight. I think it's going to kind of be the group in aggregate. Again, making the playoffs for a 3rd consecutive year, something Sean McCauley has talked about, that's not happened in the history of this franchise.
Which is
in
amazing
terms
stuff.
of winning a playoff game, you got to go back to 2019, for that to be the case, when the Indy 11 were just a few seconds away from hosting the USL Championship match, and it kind of got away late against Lou City. So, frankly, I think making the playoffs, winning at least a round, if not more, that's some of the big goals this team has.
All
to put
right,
together.
some high expectations here for Indy 11. I do want to ask you about this because there's nothing like the mic, right?
Right.
Carroll Stadium, the home location here for Indy 11. We saw better success from this team at home last year. Why was that, and how special can that place be for them this year?
Well, our fan base is tremendous. So, saw the open of the broadcast, look good, play good, right? And when we debuted those home kits a little while back, we were out at West Fork Whiskey, just across from the training grounds of the Indy 11. Place was absolutely packed. Our fan base is wonderful. There's only a couple of places, maybe Louisville, New Mexico in our league, that even come close to matching the atmosphere of the mic of the Brickyard Battalion and the passion of our fan base. So it is a true home field advantage we have here with the Indy 11.
Okay, before I get you out, I want to ask you, you brought up Louisville. So this rivalry, this rich rivalry, we're not seeing them for a long time. What are we talking about? What the first match?
I'm okay. I'm honestly okay with that. So what you're referencing last year is we played them April the 6th. That was the national television debut of the USL on CBS, and there was a combined 8 goals scored. That was great. I want to make sure I got my ducks in a row before we see the guys that comprise half of LIP AFC, the greatest thing in the history of stuff, that rivalry with Lou City. I'm okay with waiting to play them until the end of August so we get a better idea, what you got.
All right, last thing. Any message to these to the fans out there, Indy 11 fans, these soccer fans who are ready to see some great soccer?
You guys have been wonderful, and you've been wonderful since day number 1. Let's hope we bring a championship home for you. Again, I think this is a really talented squad we put together. Hoping 2025 can be a great year.
I'm loving it, and I'm hoping you're going to be very busy all the way late in the fall, right?
I need more to do in November, right?
That's right, man. Greg Rakestraw, of course, he'll be on the call for all the Indy 11 games coming up here on Wish TV and, of course, on My Indy TV, Channel 23 as well. He is the best. Thank you, my brother, for coming in.
Discover more at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to follow and subscribe to the AC's Conversations podcast and others on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Connect now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.